Greeneville Road off of Beach Creek. Should be the first residence on your right. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
10 for 1 in America.
Summer Wells, right? Welcome everybody to 1111 True Crime. Mama D in the house. And yes, we're covering Summer Wells today. My gosh, I look so pale in this light, y'all. Let's do that. How's everybody doing? We're going to go over some stuff, you guys. I went. There is so much information that I want to get out. But the one thing I want to talk about today, very specifically, a couple things, is the timeline, which we've never been able to lock into, because just when we think we've got the timeline figured out, one of the key players changes the time from 4:30 to 5:30. Could I be talking about Fred Hill? Oh yeah, because he went on Ziggy's last night and he changed the timeline from 4:30 till 5:30. This isn't going to cut it. It's not going to work. We have the timeline basically. Now, get comfortable. There were ads. I'll play it again. We can do it real quick. All right, here you go.
110 Road off of Beach Creek. Should be the first residence on your right. Reference to a missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went for a walk, came home, now they can't find her. They've been yelling for her. She's been gone for about 10 minutes now.
10 for 1 in America.
So, the mother went for a walk was the original 911 call that when she returned. And I always said she didn't go for a walk. She went for a run. Understand that it's quite possible that Candace left the property and indeed walked Summer in to the boys and said, boys, keep an eye on your sister. And instead of going over to fix a knee brace on Grandis, the grandmother of Summer, she hopped in the vehicle with possibly Hunter and took him home, who was a minor, who she allegedly was having a scandalous affair with behind her husband, Don, who was allegedly at work. But yeah, he makes comments throughout Summer's case. And one of them that he said is, we weren't even 30 feet from her. And then he says, I wasn't there. Anyway, when we look at this timeline of Summer, okay, there are some clues. Now, Ronnie, who is the sheriff of Hawkins County, Ronnie Lawson, I call him Ronnie Lawless, okay? If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. I'll try to tell you. I just don't think he did his job proper. He's retiring, and we're getting someone new. And anytime there's a changing of the tide, those that were protected by that sheriff are no longer protected. Now, he's retiring, and we have people over there investigating, allegedly, the Hill property over on Van Hill, right? And this timeline that we go through, I'm going to be showing you some memories of the things and the videos that we saw of Summer, especially if you're just trying to get the pieces back together or you're new to the case. This will refresh your memory quite a bit. And as we get into this a little deeper, after we talk about the timeline, I'm going to share with you a video I made over 3.5 years ago regarding Summer and the milk jugs in the car. So there's a lot to talk about. Let's talk about a little bit. What's that? Yes, Hunter. Candace is Hunter, Andy's son. No. Hunter is not Andy's son. Andy and Jody Sue are neighbors, and they have a different child. Hunter is Allison and, okay, Andy, Panda Andy. Okay. Yes, Andrew's son. So there's two Andys. There's the Andy, which is Hunter's dad. That's Andrew. We call him Panda Andrew. Don't even get me into that. He's just a scary little feller. Allie, his mother, God rest her soul, has passed away. But then there's another son that belongs to Jody Sue and Andy, the neighbor, okay, of Summer Wells. Gets confusing. So let's start this timeline off and just kind of break this down the best we can. All right? It starts off with that day that Summer allegedly is in bed with Candace and Don Wells, the mother and the father. Don Wells gets up and allegedly leaves out to work. Now, Candace has not only Summer, but 3 boys at her house, plus 5 other children. She went from 9 children to now none. 9 to none. Doesn't even have the dogs anymore. 9 children she has lost custody of. I kid you not. All right. So, Candace wakes up in the morning. She's got Summer. Her mother's living on the property. Her name is Candace too. We're going to call her Grandis. That's what we've always called her. So, Grandma lives in a Breaking Bad camper, kind of like the Lily and Jack Sullivan case with Janie. Got it? That's why there's so many comparisons between the Lily and Jack Sullivan case and the Summer Wells case, because it's both in rural areas. The grandmas are living in the Breaking Bad campers. The whole situation just stinks. The kids are missing and there's no evidence and there's no answers and so forth. All right. So Grandma has to go to the ER very early in the morning. So this is the story that we've been told. Candace, the mother, grabs Summer and Grandma, Candace, Grandis, and they go to the ER. While this ER is going on, while this doctor visit is going on, Candace, who's allegedly no longer friends with a friend of hers, Allie, who, whoa, is there some history there, just happens to all of a sudden, after months of no friendship and them having a fallout, decides on this particular day to stop in at the house. She's talking and so forth to Allie, who is Hunter's mother. Hunter at the time is 16, a minor. He hears that they're going fishing. Okay? Candace loves to fish, all right. But there never is fishing. There is simply swimming at a horse pond later. But anyway, so he hears fishing is what he says. He wants to go. He gets permission to accompany them. So it's Candace, who's the mother, the 16-year-old boy Hunter, Summer, who's only 5, and Grandis. They go, they do the pharmacy. While they're in the pharmacy drive-through, a call comes in and alleging, according to Hunter, which I don't believe a thing this kid says, but okay. Hunter alleges that a call came in from Don Wells, who made a claim to Candace that with the boys home alone, there's some adult that's sneaking around the property trying to touch the boys. So what? That's so weird. So they get this prescription and they go to the horse pond. Grandma sits in the car, puts minutes on her phone. I forgot. They stopped at 2 different smoke shops as well and got a slushie at the Sonic. Okay. So they come back. We're at the horse pond. And I'll show you. I said that there was a little video of Summer and that she was swimming. So let me see if I can find that. Yeah, I got it. And I'll show you that little swimming video. Now, the big question we've always had is, did Summer go under the water and then later dry drown in the car? A lot of people have wondered that. Hunter does say she went underwater, but that she came out just fine and that everything was cool. Not sure if that's true or not, but here you go. Now, there's no sound to this video because there just isn't. And it's twisted all sideways because this is how the mother posted it. But this is Summer splashing around and having a good time in the water. As you can see, she has a little bit of a bald head, barely any hair. And that is in itself very concerning, that this child's hair has been shaved off, that her head's been shaved. She's a very girly girl. She likes to wear pink. She likes all kinds of of being a princess and dancing and so forth. Now, what's interesting is after that time frame, they make the trip home, where Grandma has to have her knee brace adjusted. But before she does, she plants some flowers with Summer and Candace right outside her Breaking Bad camper. Then she gives Summer a peppermint. That's the last Grandis claims she saw of Summer. Okay, now Mom takes Summer into the house, tells the boys, keep an eye on your sister. And according to 911, she went for a walk. Well, like I said, we all believe this is the point where she takes Hunter home. Okay? Now, the boys talked about seeing Summer last. Actually, it's been pretty clear that one of them made the claim that the last place they saw Summer was on her swing. If you know this property, let's see if we can get... Yeah, let's do this. Let's go over here and let's look at this real quick. On this property of Ben Hill, Summer swing would be on this clump of trees, right? But if you look down here, we have this little building, and this is the shed. Now, what's weird is that shed turned out to be the very first place that everyone searching for Summer meets at. The initial Insuit place that Don Wells drives directly to after he gets off the phone with Candace. The very place that Jody Sue, the neighbor, shows up at and even begins to walk through the creek barefoot trying to find Summer, allegedly, according to her. Don Wells explains that not only was it him and that he saw his neighbor, he could see the boys, that they were down there looking for Summer too, and Candace. And it's alleged, because from Jody Sue and Don, both of them said, Andy also, that's Jody Sue's husband, Andy Bernard, the nephew, the grandnephew of Paul Hill, who allegedly the whole property of his son and him is being investigated by FBI and all that as of Friday. Okay. This is where they all go, is to this little property. Let's see if we can get on Street View. Yeah, I want Street View. Give me it. Oh, I hate it when it does this. I want to go down here. Can't I get on Beach Creek anymore? Okay. There we go. It looks so good now. It looked absolutely horrifying before. Looks like a nice little camping area now. I don't know what's going on, but they also have a dog kennel out here now. See that? There's a dog guarding this property. And now they have a what do you call it? Fencing up. Beware of dog, right? This is so weird. It's so cleaned up. They have a wood pile, and look, little camper back there. I don't even know if it's the Wells' property anymore. I'm not sure. So they all show up at the shed, all of them together. Before this time frame, which is a little after 4:30, oh, close to 5, right? Jody Sue and her children alleged that they had heard a scream, a blood-curdling scream. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson said, basically discredited it and said, there's nothing to it. But the kids and Jody made the claim that between 4:15 and 4:30, they allegedly heard a scream. Why is that important? Because before last night, Fred Hill also the nephew of Paul Hill and cousins to his sons that are being investigated allegedly by FBI and so forth over on Van Hill. He had been home at 4:30. That's what he had said. That is exactly what he had said, 4:30. Not only that, but there are a lot of people that remember hearing the witness make the claim that there was a red truck that was at Fred's. A red Tacoma truck. A red truck. Now, there was tree cutters in the area, but they were out of state. However, they did hire locals, according to the locals, to help facilitate the cut in the area. Is it possible, because we do know, a tree trimmer left early? Now think about this. Let's get back off of this street view. I want you to look at this curve, right? And if we was going down this way on Ben Hill right here around Summers Curve, do you see this big curve? It's a big C. If you were flying down this road on Ben Hill and you were going to dead end out here by Fred Hill's property with a red truck, okay, could you have not seen someone down on that area? Or even could it have been on 347 or Beach Creek, right? Could it have been on Beach Creek? On Beach Creek Road right through here. Now, this is weird. The boys and Summer often played out here at this facility, this little she shed, this little shed. The timelines were 5 and 5:30. Well, Jody Sue claimed it was between 4:15 and 4:30 that she heard the scream. So if that tree trimmer is normally done around 5 and he left early, could he have been cruising like a mad thing, right, down the highway, come across this corner, and could all of the kids been out here playing, but then the boys left Summer behind? Because they often left Summer behind. Let me show you this. Listen to this.
You know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something.
First interview.
'Cause she loved to be outside all the time. That was her. Unfortunately, her downfall.
Okay, wait. We'll back it up. Unfortunately, her downfall is that she wanted to be outside. Now, he's about to tell you that time and time again, they blame the boys. Don's like, where's your sister? Don't leave Summer. And they were all inside and no Summer, right? So if the boys are supposed to keep an eye on their sister, and Candace is on the highway heading back to take Hunter home, Grandis allegedly is taking a nap, then the boys are alone with Summer. Did they go down there to their favorite little area and play in that Beach Creek little shed where they went, Candace went, Don Wells went, Jody Sue went, Andy went, possibly Fred, to look for Summer first? If that's your first thought, everybody's first thought, they're going to go where they saw her last. So if this person, hypothetically, was either on a motorcycle, which that's what Fred Hill claims is somebody went in the ditch with a motorcycle, or if this person is in a red truck, whatever, they may have struck the child on the highway and then freaked out, and like it happens with hit and runs. The little girl Strand, Avina Strand, right, where the UPS driver picks her up after hitting her and tries to hide it. Okay, so let's say something like that happened if the child was struck by a vehicle and they decided to cover it up. that could explain a lot of what we're dealing with. And if that's true, keep in mind, if the child wasn't alive anymore, Paul Hill's place used to allegedly be a hog farm. We all know what can happen there. Nothing but teeth left. Could that be why Dawn Wells is like, you'll never find Summer? We'll see her in the resurrection. It's a big red flag. Greeneville says, because the boy said that's where they left her, perhaps. Why would every single one of them went directly to the she shed the second they all began to look for Summer, unless that's where she was last? Now, continue to listen to how Dawn talks about the boys and putting the responsibility on them. Now, keep in mind, if Candace really has, like she said in the 911 call, went for a walk or drive, right? A run, more like it, to take Hunter home, then the boys may have went down there to play, because that's where Dawn sees them all. And if that's true, did they leave Summer behind?
The boys would be inside and we'd be like, where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? You know, go get Summer now. You know, and that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And she
loved to be outside.
You know, and I'm so afraid that she's locked away.
You feel me? So if they had all went down there to play, and like always, according to Dawn Wells, they left Summer alone, is she really going to, let's go back to this. Is she really going to climb that mountain by herself? Or is she going to think in her mind that she can come straight out here onto Beach Creek, which we have the neighbors saying, I saw the kids out, all of them, on the road many, many times. Had to tell them to get off the road. So she's familiar with the road. Was she walking along the road, got hit by a car at 4-ish, between 4:15 and 4:30, and Jody Sue hears this scream, wow, blood-curdling scream. Is it just that damn simple, and then they all covered it up? If Summer had been SA'd by the Wells, her own father or whoever, or even worse, being passed along, even if somebody else has damaged the child, the risk of her being found out during medical exams would fall back on the family. So when we're looking at this, you got to go down, you know, you got to turn right here, right? Then you got to know to go up here, and then you got to find this one little spot right here to come through this driveway to get up here. So, no, I don't believe that Summer was up there. I believe that literally she was just about to head up the dog trail. Right? She had come down the dog trail, wherever that is, to get to this little Breaking Bad little she shed down here with her brothers. And then, boom, that's where the scent ends, because she gets hit. It's very possible. Now, I want to get into this real quick. Let me see what we got to do there. This is one of the hardest videos in my life I've ever watched. We've all seen it that have been in the case. If you're new to the case, trigger warning, this is disturbing. It is Summer Wells dancing in the rain in front of a red for sale barrel, and there was honky tonk music on it. There may still be, I'll probably have to mute it, but I wanted you to take note of this. So there's music. Now watch, somebody is directing this child to come back over and dance in front of the camera, in front of that for sale They're directing her. Get back over here. She dances a little bit. Starts to wander away again. But that's disturbing. And that's the video that we have. I don't know, you guys. It's so strange. So if this is a scenario that Summer got hit, wouldn't there be something of evidence? Well, let's get into that. Let's go down here. I want you to watch this little video I've got. And I'm just going to let this play out for you. I'll be here the whole time, and we'll talk about it afterwards. This is almost 4-year-old video. This is like just a month or two after Summer went missing that I made this video. Couple months.
Why is it doing that? What is
It's lightning, baby.
The next time you look up at those
Now hold on a
beautiful
minute.
night stars shining in the...
That was Summer's voice, you guys. She's asking about the lightning and why the sky is flashing. Little Summer says, "Why is it doing that?" And Candace says, "That's lightning, baby." All right, that's all I want to make sure you know, that is little Summer's sweet voice that you're hearing.
Why is it doing that? What is
It's lightning, baby.
The next time you look up at those beautiful night stars shining in the darkness, know that Summer is there with you, because she now owns many parts of the universe. So a fellow YouTuber, a fellow creator named Mystery Angels decided to purchase a star in honor of Summer Wells, and NASA joined her. And now Summer owns a star in every constellation in the sky. Summer owns the universe. This is a last known photo taken of 5-year-old Summer Wells, and it draws out so many questions. The very obvious question that most people ask first is, why is this child leaning up against 2 gallons of cold milk? The temperature of the day was a high of 83. The mother has reported the windows are up and the air conditioner is off. And yet, this child is dressed in many layers, a spring jacket, and long pants. I ask you, where is the condensation on the milk carton? I don't see any. Do you? Not only does it appear as though she has very pale complexion, on closer look, her lips have staining beneath them. She had a blue slushy according to Mom, but that's reddish. Could Summer have been throwing up? And an even closer look at where her little head lays on that milk gallon. Does her ear on the right appear to be very purple and almost black? What do you think? How long has her head been on that cold milk? And there also appears to be a V-shaped bruise right by her eyebrow on the same side as the ear. And with even a closer look at her small hands, they appear to be swollen, as well as there's discoloration of the nail bed. There also appears to be a very dark mark or line on the inside of her right hand. So far, we have found that most of the injuries, if they are injuries, were sustained on the right side of Summer's body, her right ear, her right temple, and now her right hand. With all the other marks on this child's body, it makes me wonder about this area underneath her chin. Is that mere shadows from her little jacket? Or is it possible this is something much more sinister and deep, heavy bruising? It makes me pause and ask, could it be that they put the jumpsuit on this child to cover the intense bruising on her body? Summer is seen here fishing in her little blue shorts, and if you notice, her legs are very petite. Yet, in the photograph, it almost appears as if those pants are snug on her. And look at the width of her legs. Is it me, or do they look swollen? I ask you sincerely, what is it that we're looking at in her lower abdomen, just below her seatbelt? Well, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this. Notice how the red stain is beneath the seatbelt, as well as it's a heavy enough saturated color that it also has saturated and begun to seep all the way through the seatbelt onto the top. I feel it bears repeating that Summer had a blue slushie. This red appears to be similar to the color that is surrounding her lips. I wonder, with the red color and saturation, could this possibly be blood? The mother claims that this child was very cold, and so she put her in this jumper suit. If the child is very cold, why is she leaning on cold milk? Remember, it's 83 degrees. The windows are up, and there's no air conditioning running. What are the chances that Mom and Grandma put Summer in this jumper outfit to cover up injuries that had happened to this child at the swimming hole? Let's take a moment and review the actual video.
She still got her arm up?
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to catch. She still got her arm up?
No.
Oh, that's what I was trying to catch.
What may have been perceived by the mother as a voluntary movement of expression may very well have been the Lazarus sign or the Lazarus reflex, which is a reflex movement in a brain dead or the brainstem failure patients, which causes them to bravely raise their arms and then drop them either to their side or across their chest. The Lazarus reflex has been known to happen just prior to death.
And I'm sorry that you guys feel that way, but that's my baby, and nobody would ever treat her like that as long as I was around. Ever.
Treat her like what, Candace? What is it that you know has happened to your baby?
Why is it doing that? What is
It's lightning, baby.
oh.
So that was a long, long time ago, my lovelies. Hey, Marky. Hey, Wolfie. Welcome back. Allison, Nikki, Kate, Jennifer, Rach, Not That Rach, Kylie. Good to see you all. Mark, how is your mom? Hey, Ceylon. So you guys, they were looking for a red Tacoma pickup truck, right? Well, it just so happens that Paul Hill's son allegedly owned a red Tacoma pickup truck. Let's look at this. This is what they said in the beginning. Why did you release information about a Tacoma truck? An individual who travels through the area regularly as part of his job stated that he recalls possibly seeing a 1998 2000 maroon or red Toyota Tacoma with a full bed ladder and white buckets in the truck bed. The individual states that the truck might have been parked in the area of Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening on either Monday, June 14th or Tuesday, June 15th. That vehicle was not captured on surveillance cameras. In an effort to cover all bases and identify the driver, the TBI, in agreement with the Hawkins County Sheriff Office and the FBI, released the vehicle description. Our hope was that the individual might have information that could help the investigation. The driver has not come forward, and still to this day, I will add, nor have the hundreds of vehicles reported to us matched the description panned out. So, with a red truck parked that day, allegedly, down there on Fred Hill's property, isn't it interesting to you that Fred Hill's the one that said that the cadaver dogs came and alerted all the way up his driveway to his truck? And he claimed that Don Wells had put his hand there. What if it had actually been that the dogs were following the red truck that had been parked allegedly at Fred Hill's driveway? Would it make sense that Fred Hill's own relative might have come there? They would have had to pass that corner that we were just looking at. Let me go back to the website there. To get to Fred's, they would have had to go right past this corner that I'm talking about, and most likely this corner on Beach Creek. But yet the cadaver dogs tracked up Fred's driveway and hit on his truck where he said Don Wells laid his hand. Puppies. So it makes you wonder if this person made the accident. Allegedly, is it possible that they actually hit Summer and showed up at Fred Hill's with the child's body in their truck, and maybe they handled the child, picking Summer up off the road, and their hand is what sat on Fred Hill's truck? And that's what the dogs were following? Because it just seems so strange that we have all this coinky-dink of that vehicle matching one of Paul Hill's two sons. We have the PI that back in June was talking about the two brothers and one brother turning on the other. And no, he wasn't talking about Summer's brothers. He made that clear. So it really, to me, there's a lot here about possibly there's something happening on the road. And if Summer was hit on the road, it doesn't mean that there would be visible blood, right? It could be that it was internal injuries that came out of her later. And if her energy or her essence, her scent, ends on the road, could it be where the dogs lose the scent because Summer is put into the back of a truck? Hey, Ash Cash. You said, I've always wondered why Fred said that the cadaver dogs hit on the back of his truck and something like that on his property. Boom. Yep. I think that this timeline of Jody Sue and her children, and Jody came out with that immediately. She did not wait weeks. It's one of her first times where she's in her trailer that she's talking and she's saying, I'm sorry, I didn't know, to Don Wells in the video. She said she and the kids heard a scream between 4:15 and 4:30. If this person got off of work a little bit early or whatever they're doing and they're, traversing that curve on Beach Creek, the kids are down there where everybody met at that shed where Dawn beelines it to that shed. We've got Jody Sue, we've got Andy, possibly Fred, we definitely have Donnie, we have Candace and the boys all right there. That's where they went first. Is it because while Candace was gone on her little run to take Hunter home, is it possible that the boys decided to take Summer and go play at that little Breaking Bad shed down there where everybody shows up? And then they left her, as they always do according to Don Wells. And Summer, went around that corner on the road. And the person coming around that big curve on Beach Creek Road, right here, this curve, can you see it? Are you seeing my mouse? Yes. Look at this curve right here. If Summer's walking on that with her back to traffic and somebody's barreling down heading to Fred's to pick up some, special supplies, makes you really, really wonder. Hey, Stone Racer, we are going to pull some cards. If you're into that, we'll be heading to Crime Story shortly. There would be something left, though, closed. Not if they took her and fed her to the pigs and not 4 years later. I am not trying to be rude, but I'm just saying these are some individuals here. It just makes me really wonder if those kids went down to the cotton blind area, which is what it was. There was an old cotton blind there. After summer passed, they got rid of that cotton blind. Why? Because that's what the kids were always playing on, is the cotton blind, which is basically what looks to be a rickety old wooden deer tower. It was from back in the slave day, where there was cotton fields and they would climb up in the cotton blind to watch the fields. And that's what the kids were playing on. Like I said, that got gone with summer. They tore that down because that was what the kids were drawn to. That's what they were playing on, is a cotton blind. They, had the fort, if you will. So if the mother is not on a run, out on a walk, as the 911 call suggests, but actually out on a run with her car, driving Hunter home, Candace is taking a nap, Don Wells is at work, and that leaves the boys. Boys, watch your sister out playing. And if they left Summer, to this day, they would all feel, especially when you see that interview where Don Wells has Josie under his thumb and has him right there on that interview about his missing sister, and Josie can't even lift his head. They blamed those boys for Summer's death. There's no question of that. You can hear it in their voice on that interview, right? Let's get back over to that interview. Let's listen to that one more time as we think about that cotton blind and them kids tearing up that, dog trail and going right back up to the house. But what if they left their sister? And I'm not blaming the boys, because boys are not responsible for their sister. The parents are.
Her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. And that was her, unfortunately, her downfall. 'Cause a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? Go get Summer now." And that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And
She loved to be outside.
Yep. And I'm so afraid that she's locked away
Okay, listen to me, y'all. Even TBI has stated that Summer was last seen walking down the road. Walking down the road. All right? So was Summer hit by a car? Did someone that was driving that car freak out, pick up the child's body, and then family, all the hills have eyes, all kick in to get it hush hush real quick? Because even TBI says Summer was last seen on the road. And when I looked at that, what appears to be on her seatbelt right there, that looks like blood to me. Ash Cash says, I believe it was some kind of accident. I know Don has issues, but I believe he did love his daughter. I truly think it was an accident, and that they didn't want to go to jail for neglect, in my opinion. Very possible. Very possible. Jennifer Swain says, a slimy slug has more integrity than Don. He accused blames his victims. True. 100% says Ash Cash. Allison says, biggest red flag is when someone who is meant to not know what happened to talk about someone in the past tense. And this is their first interview. Right, Rad Max? Blaming Summer and her brothers. Ash says that's what I heard a lot when they said that she went for a walk, that she actually went on a run. Yeah, that's what we all think. Just 1 second, please. Have a good day at work, sweetheart. Yes, there you go. Nodar says he almost said she was always coming up missing. Did anybody catch that? I want to listen to it one more time.
You know, her being tormented or locked in a dungeon or basement or something, because she loved to be outside all the time. That was her. Unfortunately, her downfall. Because a lot of times the boys would be inside and we'd be like, "Where's Summer? Why'd you leave her out there alone? Go get Summer now." And that's happened over and over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person.
You got it right there. Listen again. Listen right there. He's starting to tell you that she's always coming up missing. Listen, you're right. You're right. Thank you, Notar. Listen.
She was an outdoor person. And she
loved to be outside.
And I'm so afraid that she's locked away.
I missed it. Hold on.
She had to be outside. She was an outdoor person. And she
loved to be outside.
Somehow I missed it.
Go get Summer now. And
go
that's
get Summer
over
now.
And over again. And we'd come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up. She had to be up.
She was always coming up.
Come out and she would always be close by, but we was always coming up.
We was always coming up. Yeah. I hear it. Aw, thank you, Rach. This would be a wonderful time to hit that like button. I'll give you just a few minutes to do so. It inspires me even stronger to continue to work for the missing children, to see that you've shown me some love, as well as if you are subbed up, I want to say thank you very much. Also want to thank my mods who are so wonderful. I have the best family in the world over here, and my beautiful replay crew. Love you all so much. Yeah, first class neglect, right, Cordster? Good to see you. Vancity, locked in a dungeon, her downfall, liking outside, odd and strange things to believe and think. Poor boys, their life must be hell. Yeah, Rad, he caught himself. Absolutely. Aw, thank you, Linda. Thank you for liking. That's right, Allison. Thank you. Hello, beautiful Star Winters. Hello, dear. How are you, James? Good to see you. Wolfie couldn't seek medical help because they probably would find SA. Signs of SA. Yeah. I agree. Yep, I was shocked too. Olga, we don't have a proof of it. There's rumor that and it's just rumor at this point. We have nothing but what somebody has said, which could be a troll, that Dawn actually tried to sell video for $5,000. Of what I'm talking about. And yes, I'm talking about Summer. I don't know if it's true. Aw, Moonflower Lisa. Thank you, my beautiful, for the True Crime membership. James Moen. Welcome as a 1111 Starlight Voice. Oh, you mean Candace was always phoning Allie saying couldn't find Summer when she was drinking, allegedly. Yeah. Vexo says the new search area used to be a big pig farm from what I have seen. That's just... Allegedly, they're taking tons of dirt out of somewhere. Locals are seeing dump trucks go by. They never have before. All right. So I want to kind of just recheck my notes real quick. The PI hinted about two brothers, one turning on the other, and said, I'm not talking about Summer Wells, back in June. Now we have this property of Paul Hill, allegedly, Paul Hill, and his sons, his two sons, brothers, one of them being searched, right? That's interesting. Who is then also related directly to Fred Hill, who the cadaver dogs hit on at the end of that road of Summers, where Fred Hill lived. Let's see what else. So Don allegedly broke down over there. Not only did he get a DUI on that road where they're searching, but also more recently he broke down and one of those brothers gave Don Wells a ride, rumor has it. Randy Hill, the brother that is all in question here, allegedly owned a red Tacoma truck. Now, Davy's tree cutting was from out of state, and that was being used to cut that clearing right near that blind, that cotton blind, by that shed, right? Let's go back over. Show that again. So there was a clearing, and it was a clearing that was cut at Beach Creek. And it was being cut by an out-of-state service. However, allegedly, they were hiring local tree trimmers as well. Turns out that Paul's sons one of them owns or works for Hill Tree Farm. So he would have the skills. It is weird that Hunter, even though I'm not sure I can believe him, the 16-year-old that was with Summer and Candace, I should say, and Grandis that day that Summer went missing, he allegedly got a hold of Candace's phone, and they had the same phone. She left hers laying on the seat, so he grabbed it this is days after Summer was missing. And he grabbed it and he opened up this drug dealer she had. And the last message he was able to say said, "It's done." Makes you wonder, right? Because the guy's name was Andy. Could that really have been Andy Bernard? Maybe so. Makes you wonder. Oh, yeah. Good one. On the day that this search was taking place, on Friday, this recent search with the FBI, TBI, Sumner, Hawkins, sorry. I get Sebastian's case too. Okay, So Hawkins County, they're all searching them. Nobody knew what they were doing. No one. So how would have Don Wells have known to call Fred Hill? Fred didn't take the call, but Ziggy did tell us that indeed Don tried to get in touch and contact Fred Hill while that search was going on. That's weird too. Okay, let's get back over here. I'm going to play this for you. This is from, let me see, where is it? Ziggy. Okay. This is from Ziggy's show, where all of a sudden Fred changes his tune and the timeline all at once last night.
Some of the things said about being home at, Fred said he was home at 4:30.
Yeah, they was trying to say I was home at 4:30 and stuff, that I told Donna I was back at home at 4:30. What I said to Donna, that I had left out of Ben Hill, and that motorcycle broke down on the side of the road, and I took and stopped there to take and help him, and he asked if somebody could haul it. And I told him, yeah, I could haul it. And I went back to the hauler between 4:15 and 4:30 to get the trailer to haul the motorcycle before going back and hauling it. And at that time, I didn't see nobody along the road, is what I said.
And people were trying to insinuate, oh, well, you must be lying because you must have saw Chad or something. Chad.
Yeah, they were trying to say evidently that I seen Chad, had to meet up with Chad and Candace at my driveway at 4:30. Chad wasn't at my driveway at 4:30 or Candace. It was up at 5:30.
Well, there he goes. So at first, remember, Fred was talking about taking a vehicle in to the scrapyard, right? But then after he said that and found out that the scrapyard was closed and he couldn't have been doing that, got to change it up a little bit so it works with the true, with what they know, right? Yes. Yes, Fred has told many lies. Coco says his family, "Aw, Tommy Jude's is being laid to rest today in a funeral. God bless you, Tommy Jude. We all adore you. You will live on in our hearts forever and ever." Okay, you guys, this is what I have for you today. I absolutely adore Summer's energy. I really do wonder if somebody struck her. She was last seen, according to TBI, walking on that road. I showed you the video with what appears to be a red substance leaking out of the child, enough to saturate the seatbelt. There's also some disturbing colorations on the child. So, if it was a car accident, why wouldn't they report it? Because they're all drug users and runners. They're all bad, into nasty stuff. They don't want the cops in there in an investigation. Oh, I know. Mine too. That's what I feel too, Jenny. I think you're right. All right, my lovelies, if you care to join us, I am running a little late, but we will get over. For those of you that want to pull some cards, I'm simply going to pull them and see what Summer's reading says. It's always shown me. You can go back and watch over, I think it's 200 readings. The Summer was hit by a car. And it's always shown me that Andy Bernard's relative is where Summer ended up. Doesn't mean it's factual, but that's what it showed me. So I find it oh so interesting that it's Andy Bernard's great uncle and his cousins that all the FBI are all looking at right now. Aw, thank you, Greeneville. Yes, pray for Summer. We need justice. Thank you, Janfa. Good to see you. Hey, Cordster, better late than never, always. Hey, Skies, how are you? Thank you, Allison. Thank you all for joining me, and I will see you in just a few minutes. If you decide to carry on with me, I would greatly love that. Let's go back over here. I'm going to play something for you on our way out. I'll leave you with this. Mrs. Summer, loving her swing. You can tell that was her favorite thing in the world because there's no grass. Baby girl, we will fight for you, and fight for you till you are found. Justice for Summer Moon Utah Wells.